Hey, what's up, folks? Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by Salt Lake City Concerts. Head on over to saltlakeCityConcerts.net to find out about all of the bands coming to town very soon. Hey, what's up, Salt Lake City? Welcome to episode 37 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name is Chris Hollifield. I am your host, your guide from episode to episode as I lead you on that wonderful journey through beautiful Salt Lake City, introducing you to individuals, professionals, just everyday people that are doing really cool stuff here in Salt Lake City, making it just a little bit better to live in. Today's episode, today's guest on the show, I had an opportunity to sit down with Moudi from Laziz. Laziz Foods, you might have seen their hummus at local farmers market last summer. You might have seen their food products at your local Harmons. You might have seen it somewhere. Well, today, on today's episode, I sat down with Moudi and I found out the story. I found out how they started, challenges that him and his partners faced, and just the fun that they've had along the way. But before I get into that, I want to tell you about my website, iamsaltlake.com. The best thing about the website, you can listen to all of the previous episodes of the podcast directly from the website. You can also find links for Stitcher Radio and iTunes. Like I said, you can listen to all of the episodes online. You can stream them directly. I was contacted by a few people and they said, hey, you can only go back so far in Stitcher. Well, you know what? You can go back to the very beginning on iamsaltlake.com. Check it out. Give me a call. I got a voicemail line, 385-202-5926. I love to hear feedback. I love to hear what you think of the show. I love to hear if you want to be a guest on the show because you guys are what keeps me going. Seriously, if you guys knew how busy of a guy I am, but I still love to bring you 2 episodes a week, a brand new show on Sunday and a brand new show on Wednesday. But on top of that, I work full time. I take a couple of night classes at school. I got a wife. I am a busy guy, but you know what? I love to do this because I love the city and I love to give a little bit something back to the city. So thank you very much for your support. You guys are what keeps me going. Drop me a line, iamsaltlake@gmail.com. Tell me what you think of the show. I'd love to hear back from you. So anyways, this episode, cannot wait to bring you the conversation, like I said, I had with Moudi. So I'm going to jump right into that now. Pretty much what I like for people to do kind of in the beginning, kind of just give a little bit of an introduction about your product for somebody who's listening that might not have ever heard of your product, okay. Laziz. Okay. Again, that's how you correct. Yes. Okay.
Laziz.
Laziz.
Laziz is an Arabic word that means tasty, enjoyable, and lighthearted. And so it can be used to explain a person, a place, or a thing. And so my partner Derek and I thought that Laziz would be a good word to explain the feel that we want our food to give, and the actual description of the food as a tasty product. And we have 3 products: hummus, muhammara, and toom.
Which I'm actually looking at them here right now.
Toom is a garlic spread made with 4 ingredients: lemon juice, olive oil, garlic, and salt. And a tablespoon has 5 cloves of garlic in it, so it's strong. But if you've ever had a shawarma, that's the sauce that typically goes on a shawarma. But it could be used as a substitute for mayonnaise. It could be used as a flavorful addition to a soup or a pasta sauce or a salad, or you can saute veggies, or you can spread it on smoked salmon, grilled steaks, on chicken. So you can do a lot with that.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually had a local food blogger called SLC Foodie that came up with a mashed potato recipe using toom, parsley, and lemon zest. And so it was kind of a Lebanese...
And where can you find this recipe at if listeners listening in?
It is the SLCfoodie.com.
Oh, excellent.
Actually, thevintagemixer.com.
The Vintage Mixer.
Yeah.
And I'll try to find that link and even maybe post it with your, because in every episode I try to put show notes.
Okay.
And so the link back to your guys' website, your
Great.
Facebook, and then maybe I'll put some different recipes.
All right.
Up. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
So she took a traditional American style mashed potatoes and put a Middle Eastern twist on it using our tomb. And that's one of the goals that we have as well, is to have a line of Middle Eastern food that people can take home to create their own culinary experience. And so the only place you can find Middle Eastern food is if you go to a restaurant, but you can't take anything home, nothing traditional anyways. And so we want to create that availability, and with that, integrate Middle Eastern food into your traditional culinary foods. And so adding our tomb to American style mashed potatoes creates this dynamic between different food cultures.
Excellent.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So our second product, Muhammada, is a sweet red pepper dip that's made with pomegranate molasses, walnuts, onion, garlic, olive oil, and spices. And so it is basically a Middle Eastern salsa, and that traditionally hails from Aleppo, Syria. And so one of the spices we have in there is Aleppo pepper, which is imported from Syria as well.
Wow.
And
you import that in then for it, or no?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And so you can use that the same way that hummus is used as a dip. It's most commonly had with a leaf. So if you take a leaf of lettuce and you scoop it up, it has a really fresh, crunchy taste with that. Or you can use it as a sauce on your baked or grilled chicken or potatoes, or add it into a salad. And then our last product, hummus, which is what we originally started out with. What makes our hummus different is that it is very traditional. What you see at the store has been very Americanized as far as hummus goes. And so we want to bring back the authenticity of hummus into people's homes. With our hummus, we start out with dry beans that we soak for 20 hours in advance. We cook for 4 hours. All the gas is extracted out. Most of the skins are taken off as it cooks. Most other hummus companies that are large and commercial use canned beans, which is not, even if it's canned or organic, it's still not as healthy as a whole dry bean. And there's also no oil in our hummus.
Wow.
So what we usually do in the Middle East is you put the hummus in a bowl, drizzle olive oil on top, and then you can add any spice or topping of choice to create your own flavor. That way, as you dip, you get to taste the olive oil, and you can essentially create flavor with every bite.
And so you started with the hummus, and how far, let's back up a little bit here. Okay. So you started, it's been about a year that you guys have been around, right?
Almost a year,
About a year. I read somewhere February, right? Yep. Okay, so you started in February of 2012, this last year. You started with the hummus. When did you decide to start making other food items?
We were about a month in, or 2 months in, to the farmer's market, and we thought, our hummus is doing so well, let's try and introduce other products and just see how it goes.
And what was the response like? Pretty good, I guess.
Yes, the response was amazing. And so we launched it within about a week or two of testing them. And so far, they are actually catching up in sales to hummus as well. So all of our products have been very well received, and among different groups as well. So some people do not like hummus, but they will often buy Muhammada or Toom.
Absolutely.
And so you kind of gain a lot of different interests in that as well.
So do you plan on like this is just basic hummus? You get different flavors of hummus. Do you plan on like doing different flavors of hummus? Or?
No, and the reason is if you ever travel to anywhere in Lebanon or Palestine or Iraq or Syria or wherever it is, you will not see or you cannot buy flavors of hummus. They're just hummus.
Really?
And then
is that a United States thing then?
It is.
Really?
It is, yes. The only flavor there is to hummus, if you want to create a new flavor, is the spice or the topping that you add on top. So you can add cumin and tomatoes, or you can add cilantro and lemon juice, or you can add roasted red peppers and parsley. So
what do you think of flavored hummus? And I mean, I'm intrigued by this. I didn't know this.
I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of most hummuses you can find at the store.
Yeah.
Anyways, one, because almost all of them have cumin in them, which is not traditional at all. There is no spice in hummus at all, unless you consider garlic as a spice. That's the only spice there is in there. And so the word hummus is an Arabic word that means chickpea.
Okay.
The proper name of the dip is hummus bi tahini, which means chickpeas in tahini. And for those who don't know, tahini is just ground up sesame seeds. It has a very bitter taste, and it's treated the same way that peanut butter is treated. And there's only 4 basic ingredients in hummus, which are chickpeas, tahini, lemon juice, and garlic. And then you can add salt. But there's no oil. There are no other spices at all. So flavored hummus is not traditional, which is not to say that it's bad.
But it's just not traditional.
Yeah, it's not traditional. And even the original flavor hummus from most hummus companies around the country is not very flavorful, in my opinion, as well. And so the hummus market so far hasn't had a really high quality hummus
that you've experienced yet. So what in the beginning, when you first decided to kind of start this up, I mean, did you have any experience prior to this, any culinary arts? I mean, and I know you've done different cooking classes.
Right.
Did you grow up in Lebanon then?
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Lebanon.
Okay.
And I came here when I was 14. And I lived in Sandy with my aunt for about a year and a half. And then I went back home to Lebanon, spent 3 more years over there. And then I came back in 2006.
Okay.
I was evacuated here because there was a 30-day Lebanese-Israeli war. I have an American passport because I was born in Houston, and so I was evacuated by the U.S. Embassy. And I came to Utah. And I've just been here ever since. So I brought my culinary experience and my culinary heritage with me
from home and from growing up.
I don't eat out a lot. I will eat at local food restaurants that have high quality food, but I never really enjoyed fast food.
Yeah.
So when I was in college living in Logan, I didn't really go out to eat at KFC and McDonald's and Subway and all those fast food joints. So I would often make do with what I had at home. And so as the years progressed, I just got better, and I'd call my mom and I'd say, "Hey, I'm trying to make this meal. What can I add? What can I do? It's not turning out." And so I learned all through my grandma and my mom and researching online and on.
So these products that you have actually have a little bit of family history to them, really. Yeah. Let's talk actually a little bit about where people can and obviously we can even touch it again at the end of our conversation. But you could find your products at stores, or what stores can you find them at here, like locally or
we have it at Caputo's, Cali's. We have it at 4 Harmon's locations currently, but that's going to expand soon. And those locations are City Creek, Immigration, Brickyard, and West Valley. We also have it at Liberty Heights, Fresh. We have it at a new store on 4th South and 4th West called Malolo Gardens. We have it at the Wasatch Front Farmers Market store, which recently opened up on 5800 South and State Street, the Utah Co-op, the Community Co-op, and we have it at the Market in Park City.
Wow, so you stay pretty busy, I bet, making all of these products.
We label, make, package, and
it's
deliver.
Is it just two of you that are doing this right now,
yes.
or do you have more employees?
Derek and myself, and once in a while we will bring over a friend to help us out.
So you put some long hours in with making these. I mean, what keeps you going? What motivates you to do this?
What really keeps me going is healthy food, quality food. I would not eat anything that has bad quality ingredients in it. And I want to have that available for Middle Eastern food on store shelves, which is not currently available, at least not in Utah.
So is there any good Middle Eastern restaurants or anything that you recommend?
Maza is a great place.
Okay.
Love it a lot. There's a falafel joint in Sugar House called O.
Oh, falafel.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Love that. I actually just had a falafel over there.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
There are a lot of good restaurants, but there's nothing that you can take home.
That you can take home. Do any of these like places carry your products in there or not yet?
No. I don't think restaurants. If you made salsa, Hispanics will not be your biggest customer base.
Yeah.
So most of them make their own hummus and their own tomb, and so they would not be a customer of ours, and I would not expect them to be anyway.
Now, backing up a little bit to where people can find your product, I was first introduced to your product at Craft Sabbath. Okay, and so you mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, farmers market. Is that kind of going to be a continuing thing as well to sell it at local markets? And you mentioned, too, you have a commercial kitchen. Do you ever see yourself having a storefront? Or, I mean, not really, or it's hard to really say?
For our company, we do have a lot of long-term goals and a lot of dreams we want to see happen. Not necessarily for profit, but just because we want it to happen.
Yeah.
Just to say that we could. Having a storefront for our products only is not something that we have in mind, but having a storefront for Middle Eastern import goods is something that we have in mind.
So, I mean, is there a store for Middle East?
Yes,
we've kind of bounced around a little bit.
There's a lot of them around town, but I would dare say not a lot of them are up to par with what they should be.
Yeah.
And they're not very well known as well. So I would be thinking along the lines of a Caputo's style market and deli for strictly Middle Eastern food, and that may or may not happen,
And you never know. And I mean, it's
fun to
dream.
Dream, exactly.
Absolutely.
But and it again comes back to the whole point of having mostly local and quality, healthy Middle Eastern food that people can take home and that can integrate into their daily lives, and that can be affordable as well. Our products right now are a bit pricey, which is understandable with a startup company. You need to build capital.
Absolutely.
And we do not have the buying power that these large hummus companies have.
Yeah.
So.
But again, it goes back to if everybody just wanted cheap food, we would shop at the Walmarts and all of that. And, people like myself, I try, I'll stay away from there, because I realize how important it is to keep your money in the community. Even with your products, you might spend a little bit more money, but you know where the money's going.
Exactly.
You're keeping it here local. Let's say, what are some challenges and advice? I mean, say somebody was interested in starting a business.
Okay.
Just a business in general, or thought about. I mean, you've come so far in less than a year. Okay. I mean, what's some advice you would give to somebody who was like, oh, I want to start a business, but maybe I shouldn't, or maybe,
The hardest thing on me has been the energy and the time it takes. I mean, we have sold close to about 50,000 products. No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong.
I was going to say that's a lot of products, man.
It's actually, I'd say it's about 25 or 30,000 products.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even count the whole year, because when we started in February, we didn't really start selling until May.
Okay.
You know.
So that's really when it took off for you, was that farmer's market,
exactly.
really? Okay.
So from May until now, between 25 to 30,000 products, all handmade and hand packaged and labeled, and then delivered and sold as well, takes a toll on your body and on your sanity. There are weeks where I would get maybe 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And you would just be in the kitchen all night, and you're bound to make mistakes. And with hummus, for instance, if we make a mistake with a batch, well, we can't have hummus ready for another 24 hours, because then we have to soak beans again.
Yeah.
You know. So if I run out of hummus today, I won't have any until tomorrow, because I have to soak beans and then I have to cook them. Had I been using canned beans, I can have hummus ready in a few hours.
But canned beans just aren't as good.
No, they're not healthy and they taste bad, and I'm just not a fan of canned beans.
So I mean, your biggest advice, I mean, from what it sounds like, is just to kind of keep going if you want to start a bit.
Persevere, yeah. I haven't been to a doctor in 6 years, and I haven't been sick in 6 years until this year.
So you see the benefits of what you're doing.
Yeah, I just crashed. I got sick. I got the flu, and I thought I was a really healthy guy, but I've really taken a toll on how much I've overworked my body that it could not fight.
Well, it sounds like it. Yeah. If you were producing as much as, so I mean, is there a busier time of the year, or is it kind of hard to tell because you haven't really done this for a full year yet?
Well, yeah,
so.
I haven't done it for a full year, and we've only been in stores for a few months.
Few months, really.
But summertime, if I were to compare summer and winter so far, the summer was a lot busier, of course. We were at 5 different farmers markets, which
wow, all summer long you were about 5. Wow,
takes a lot of energy to go over there and set up every week and sell and talk and repeat your same pitch for 4 to 5 hours, and you just get to a point where you've only spent from 8 a.m. till 1 p.m. at a farmer's market, but you are incapable of doing anything for the rest of the day. Yeah. Because it takes that much energy.
Well, you're so exhausted.
Out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've helped my wife out with her clothing at some of the farmers markets. And, you know, again, you might only do it for, about 5 hours, but you're just exhausted. You just want to come home and crash. And then the heat.
Exactly.
The 90, 100-degree days.
You're just out
tiring.
In the heat. It is. And, this next summer, we're going to be at 10 of them.
You better hire some employees.
We are planning on it. We're not going to do all of them.
Is there even 10 farmers markets in this area?
Oh, well, it'll be throughout the whole state.
The whole state, even down to like maybe St. George area, or not that far?
Not that far. I think the farthest down we'd go is maybe Provo or Orem.
Okay. But, and is there any stores in Provo and Orem now that you see? Like, so if any listeners listening in are in Provo and Orem, can you find this down there yet or not yet?
Not yet. No, but soon we'll be available at all Harmon stores.
At all Harmon stores. So, gosh, I love Harmon's.
I love Harmon's too. They are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And they are really committed to, even if you start a small food business and it does really well at the farmers markets, and you can show that you have the potential to grow and sell, Harmon's backs you up 100% of the way, and they really help you. So we are grateful. Harmon's has been a wonderful place. Our sales at Harmon's have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
We have been hitting record sales, and so it's been amazing.
Excellent. And so if you're listening, see, that's why it's important to shop at Harmon's.
It is.
And they didn't even pay me to say that.
No, I think it's very important to shop locally as much as you can. Laziz is part of Local First.
Yeah.
And Utah's Own.
And I see that tagged over.
Salt Lake and a lot of the local companies in Salt Lake would not be where they are without these local nonprofits. Local First has been such a huge support in helping us find resources and connecting us with others, and others may be other businesses or other resources to help our business grow, or attend meetings with Harmons that give you an outline of what you need to enter a retail store like Harmons. They support the local community 100%, and I think it's absolutely imperative to prioritize that you shop at local businesses if you can.
Absolutely. There were some interesting facts, even around the holidays when they were doing some big pushes
Exactly.
With shopping locally, and they're great organizations. I need to get down and bring some of those people on the podcast and talk with them of how important it is. You moved here from Lebanon, or again, that's where you moved from. What are your thoughts on Salt Lake in general? When you first moved here compared to now,
when I first moved to Utah, I moved to Logan.
Okay. And what took you to Logan? What?
School.
School. Okay.
School.
Okay.
So I did my undergrad in economics and philosophy at QSU, and I'm halfway done through a master's at the U in economics, which
So are you still going to school now then top of all this?
This year I put it on hold.
I was going to say, you are nuts.
I cannot do research for a thesis and run a business at the same time. It is absolutely
especially
impossible.
on this level.
Yeah. But I lived in Logan for 4 years, 4 to 5 years, and I moved to Salt Lake about 2 years ago. And Salt Lake is home. I absolutely love Salt Lake. It is so satisfying to live in a city that's so progressive and so organized.
Is it? It really is an amazing city that so many people take it for granted.
Yeah, and many people will assume, oh, well, Salt Lake is in Utah, which is, the state of the LDS Church. It must be a conservative place, and it's not at all. We've had a lot of couch surfers come through our home from the East Coast, and their number one, how would I say this? Their number one shock when they come to Salt Lake is we didn't know that it would be so progressive.
Absolutely. And
it absolutely is. It's a beautiful place. And, we definitely do have a lot of things to work on in Salt Lake, So my partner and I who own the business cannot legally get married in Utah, and that is something that we see as a hurdle for us staying in Utah. But now that we're invested in a business here, we kind of don't have a choice. But
I could imagine how that would be tough. But you keep moving forward.
Exactly.
It's who knows where in a few years things might go,
And Salt Lake has had a streak of wonderful mayors as well that have just done significant change.
Absolutely.
So
what is some of your favorite? I know we kind of touched a little bit at the beginning. Favorite local restaurants? Do you have any favorite local places you like to go out to, or do you not really go out to eat?
We don't go out to eat a lot because we can't afford to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we cook at home as much as we can, and as great as the business is doing, our personal lives do not benefit from that. So we don't take money out.
Absolutely.
So when we can't afford to...
Well, this is your full-time job, though, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
But I
to pay the bills and
volunteer.
Yeah.
Volunteer
pay your
that
direct
job.
bills and and everything.
I think it's smart to invest everything that comes back into the business until it grows to a point where I can afford to take out, I don't know, maybe $100 a month.
Yeah.
And I hesitate to take money out right now because we're still in our early stages. Derek actually also works as a part-time server at the Avenues Bistro, and that's how we pay our bills.
Yeah.
But we do not touch anything that comes from our business.
Tell me something about yourself. I always like to find out a little bit more about people that I bring on with their business. Tell me something about yourself that, based off of what our conversation, based off of what people listening, that they might not expect from Moudi. Something about yourself and a hobby or an interest.
Oh, I don't know. I used to work for AmeriCorps.
Okay. So a big corporation.
Yeah. Well, there's a group in Utah called the Utah Conservation Corps.
Oh, okay.
That's a part of AmeriCorps, and I built trails for about 2 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking of something completely different.
So I built a trail in St. George. I built trail in the Sawtooths in Wyoming.
So do you like to hike then?
Yeah. I had a crew of about 4 people, and we would just head out every day for about 8 days straight, 10 hours a day, and just build trail. The only machine we had was a chainsaw, but everything was built by hand.
By hand.
So it was hard work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes,
so what? I mean, what other hobbies and interests? I mean, when you're not busy working, which is kind of a crazy statement to say,
right,
I'm
yeah.
sure. So you
Right,
like
no,
to
it
hike,
is.
and I mean, what are some other things you enjoy to do?
I used to hike a lot.
You used to hike a lot until you got started making hummus.
And I used to spend a lot of time outdoors and I used to travel a lot too. And travel is cheap. Just hitchhike, a backpack, sleep on a couch, and you're good.
You used to do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was actually homeless by choice for about 4 months.
Wow.
When I lived in Logan my last semester, I got fed up with just
paying the rent and paying bills and
being in a house. I just came from building trails, and I missed being outdoors so much that I sold everything I had, and I kept 2 weeks worth of clothing on me. And I would wash them at a dry cleaner every 2 weeks, and I would take showers at the gym, and I just slept outside.
Did you need a gym membership though to take a shower there? No?
I was a student on campus.
Okay. Okay. So at the gym, yeah.
So I had that option, but I was homeless by choice for a while, except for the weekends actually when I came down to Salt Lake to visit Derek. When we initially dated, I lived in Logan and he lived in Salt Lake, and so I would...
and what did he think of all that?
He wasn't happy with it. No one in my family and no one in my life was happy with it, but it was the most rewarding experience of my life. And that's one thing I miss with running a business that takes every waking minute out of you.
Yeah.
I haven't hiked in a while. I haven't traveled in a while. And again, it's only been a year, but a year of constant work every day.
Do you ever just want to throw the towel in? I mean, honestly, I'm sure there's so many days.
Yes, where I just think this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
But when you get phone calls from people in Logan, for instance, that say, now that the farmers market is over and I haven't had your products in a month, I need some. Where can I get some?
It's a rewarding feeling.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
that makes me so happy. And when you get people coming up to you and saying, my husband or my wife never liked hummus until they tried your hummus, or my kids never liked hummus until they tried yours, and it's just such a rewarding feeling.
I could imagine, and again, people listening, I can't urge you enough. Give feedback. I mean, especially with when you're people like yourself or any artist or local craft person or anywhere. It's so important to just take a minute, drop them an email, tell them when you see them at a farmer's market or a local event, even how much you enjoy their product.
Even if it's negative feedback,
How is that to listen to negative feedback though?
That helps a lot. I mean, there are a lot of people that will say, I don't care so much for your hummus, but I like the other two.
Yeah.
Which is okay, Not everyone is going to like everything that you make, and you can't expect that. It's just
Do you take like requests at all? I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, will you make this or will you make that?" Do you kind of keep that in the back of your mind, like maybe that should be our next product we make?
We've had a lot of requests for falafel, for instance.
Oh man,
and one of the ideas we have, actually, we'll have this in the summertime, is a wet falafel mix. So you'll have just the mix, and you can either fry or bake, or you can integrate into.
So that's something kind of in the works right now. Then, kind of thoughts.
We will have that in the summertime.
Excellent. I'm going to look forward to that.
I say we will, but you never know what can happen. So,
Absolutely.
So don't hold me to it. But I mean, the only places you can get falafel, or you can get a dry mix that you add water to, which doesn't taste good at all. Or you can buy pre-fried and packaged, which I don't trust, or you can go to a restaurant. And so with having a wet mix, all I've done is I've blended everything, I've prepared everything, and all you need to do is put it in a fryer or bake it, and you have a falafel. And it's a lot healthier.
Yeah. Now, I know we kind of touched in the beginning of our conversation. I want to touch just a brief more before I let you completely go. Just because I find your story so intriguing. You teach cooking classes too, okay? And so, or is that just once in a while?
Yeah.
That isn't something like, say, somebody listening can sign up for any of your cooking classes.
No, I mean, if you do follow us on Facebook, and if we do offer a class again, that will be on there.
Okay.
But I taught a class yesterday at a kitchen in Gardner Village called Taste. And that was actually my first class ever. So,
okay. So that was okay. Because I saw that. I looked on your Facebook page. I figured anyways, I looked on there, and I'm like, oh, they teach cooking classes too. Awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was our first class. And it went over beautifully well.
Yeah.
And so I'm motivated to teach a class again. But
you should teach like a 6-week course or something,
that takes a lot of time.
Not enough hours in the day.
Not enough hours in the day, no. We hand make everything. We still do not have large equipment to make things for us. You know, so I still have a very regular home stove in our kitchen with a giant stock pot, and that's where I cook all the beans on.
Wow.
I don't have a giant kettle.
So when you're at home, I mean, when you're at your home,
mm-hmm.
Your home, I mean, what are some things you like to cook and make? I mean,
well, I don't cook hummus at home anymore because I just have it readily available, which is nice. But we cook almost every night, and a lot of Lebanese food. We like to experience a lot with Indian food. A lot of times we cheat and just kind of, I don't know, make something really quick, like a fruit salad, and we call that dinner, and we're good. And it's interesting when you work in the food industry, you lose your appetite because you're around food all day long. That when you go home, you just don't want to eat.
So I hear you just want to pour a bowl of cereal and call
that's
it a
all
day.
you want to do. And I've actually, I've lost a lot of weight since being in the food industry, and you would think that would be the other way around.
Yeah.
But I'm just around food all day long that when I get home,
the last thing I
want to do is be around food.
Yeah. Well, excellent. I mean, I seriously appreciate you so much coming on and talking and sharing your story. I know your schedules. I know how it is to find time to sit down and talk. And hopefully I've, somebody that isn't familiar with your product is listening.
Oh,
and they run out or make an effort to look for your product next time they're at Harmon's or any of the other places you mentioned. Now you're on Facebook. Let's see, in the Facebook site, it looks what we got: facebook.com/Laziz Foods, LAZIZFOODS, and then Twitter. Is actually how we contacted.
Yes.
So you're new to the Twitter game.
Yeah, we now have a Twitter and an Instagram. Still trying to figure out how it works. But the username is still Laziz Foods.
Okay. And I'm going to put, again, I'll put all those up at the on the iamsaltlake.com site so people can get in touch with you. And I'll try to listen back to all the stores that you mentioned and list those on there so people can know where to find. I mean, I'm sure if you just go to your guys' website, it will say where you can find them too.
We're still trying to build a website. We've met with a few designers here and there, but it's really hard.
So hey, if anybody's listening, that's a good web designer and wants to volunteer.
We actually did find someone that we are satisfied with right now, but we've gone through about 4 or 5 that just did not do the trick.
Yeah, so it's tough to, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's tough to get on. So anything else you want to add before I let you go? Anything else? Any events coming up in the next few weeks that you're going to be selling at or not?
Yeah, there's there's an event on February 23rd with the SLC Foodie.
Okay.
And we're having 3 chefs have a chef challenge over our garlic spread, and they're going to create a meal using Toom. And
over your product. Wow.
And so that's a very exciting event, and we'll get a chance to talk about the company and describe the flavors in the food and talk about the process and whatnot. And
that's February 22nd, you said?
23rd.
Oh, 23rd, sorry.
Where
is that going to be at?
SLC Foodie has 3 sites, SLC Foodie, SLC Mixers, and the Vintage Mixer.
Okay.
And SLC Mixers, they host events every season around local food companies. And so this
one's around you guys. Excellent.
And this season, I think they're having 16 or so events, and then we're going to be having another event with them in April, which is called Best of the Best, and where they feature some of the best local food finds, and so we will be in there as well. So.
And where's that going to be at again?
I forgot. It's
how would people? Is it on your Facebook page, or how would people find out about that?
We will post about it on our Facebook page, but if you also go to SLC Mixers page, they have pricing and information. And
okay, excellent. Anything else? Any other events that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh goodness, there's a lot.
All
of
kinds of events.
Just
follow you on Facebook.
It'll all be on Facebook.
It'll all be on. All right. Well, thank you so much, Moudi, for coming on the podcast and sharing your story about your food. Support them. Support local, as I always say. I mean, seriously, buy local is so important.
It is. It is very important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can't thank you enough, Moudi, for coming onto the podcast and sharing your story about Laziz and sharing about how you started this wonderful project that you and your partner do here in beautiful Salt Lake City. Thank you very much for sitting down and sharing that story again with me. Really, really had a good time. And let me tell you what, your hummus and your other dips are delicious. Cannot thank you enough for them. Go on over to iamsaltlake.com. It's going to be on episode 37. All the notes to get in touch with their website, their Facebook, their Twitter, Instagram, everything and anything about Laziz. So thank you very much. Again, leave us a review on iTunes. Tell me what you think of the show, and kind of helps out with the ratings and helps us get exposed to more people, so more people find the I Am Salt Lake podcast. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/IamSaltLake, as well as Twitter, just at I Am Salt Lake. So connect with me. I like to keep you guys informed on what's going on in our beautiful city. Voicemails 385-202-5926. Really makes my day to hear from my listeners and hear what you guys think of the show. So I'm going to let you guys go now. I'm going to play a song now off of, there's a band, Cody Jordan. This is the first single off their 3rd full length that's due out here in February. The name of the song is A Little More Less. Hopefully I'll get them on in a podcast episode very soon. Again, Cody Jordan, A Little More Less. Thanks for listening to the I Am Salt Lake podcast. I'll be back on Sunday with a brand new episode. You guys have a good night.
She wears a little red dress every Friday night. The only problem, see, it falls down to her knees. Well, I know that you're a classy lady. Yeah, but there's so much more to see. I need a little more lace of that red dress on your body. Give me a little more